Hi all. Okay, it's been a while since I've been able to get uh, back to the table, but here we are. Just a couple of things to discuss, which isn't too bad. And one wee mistake, but one wee bit of confirmation, sort of. Yeah. um, we were talking about the whole Six Panzer Army. What were we doing? Yeah, Fifth Panzer Army card and activating Six Panzer Army units, and the rulebook says any unit, and the card says those units, suggesting just a Fifth Panzer Army. And I wanted to stick by the any unit bit first, and then Martin came and said he didn't think that was the case, and I changed my mind. Also looked back on a post that he had replied to, and also John Butterfield had replied to, and came to the conclusion that, well, if John had read through that post, surely he would have corrected Martin's response by saying that it was any unit rather than just Fifth Panzer Army units. So Martin sent me a wee message actually. Says, a few years ago I indirectly criticised John Butterfield by pointing out in some thread that a lot of questions about his games went unanswered. He then contacted me and explained that he simply didn't have enough time to do it, which I suppose you can understand. Long story long, I mentioned that if he didn't have time to write a full reply, he could thumb other correct replies he liked. He liked the idea and did actually start to do so. Do that every now and then after that. Now he says, why this explanation? Well, he says, well, that reply about the army card, he did actually thumb it. So that's kind of confirmation that Martin's reply was correct and we can stay the way we were. So that's good to know, and I'll keep an eye out for any John's thumbs that appear. Okay, so I did say there was only two things. There is another one. Both these were brought up by John Brown. We were talking about the when you've got two units of a different core but they've got the same selector number, how do you choose? And I always thought it was the lowest core number, and errata states that as well, but I did think it was in the rule book, and John's pointed me to the rule. It is under 2.2, which is at the beginning of the book. It's the very bottom of page 7. It says, in the event that you must select from units with the same selector number, possible if units are in different cores, select the unit in the lowest numbered core. Note that a unit selector number changes as it loses steps. So yeah, to be honest, I think I may have even asked this question back in the forums at some point, because I seem to remember getting pointed towards that rule in the past. But thanks for that, John. That keeps everybody straight. And the other one was finally that John brought up. I made a mistake here, which we can clear up. I don't think anything else came about it. The last unit we moved, we were activating them. It was a Fuhrer Brigade unit in the 326 VG division. One of them was outside Bastogne, the other unit moved down to Bastogne, and this unit moved out of here following the Fuhrer Brigade. The Fuhrer Brigade was in there too, and maybe that's what threw me. But I got down to movement methods 10 to 13, moved the Fuhrer Brigade into there, and then proceeded to follow with this unit. I think he was only able to get to there because he was extending his move. But as John pointed out, he's the only non-bracketed infantry unit adjacent to these allied units. So his movement should have been considered complete. Under movement method 7. Now, since we've came across this whole being able to tactically adjust, could that have came into it? Oh, you know what? I think it could, couldn't it? Because if we're saying that his movement is considered complete, but he could still tactically adjust, he's in a hex with another unit, so he actually would, if he could get in there, plus that's across the river, and he can go 1, 2, breaking zone of control, and then 3 into there. So I thought he was just going to stay there, because like I say, his movement was considered complete, but as I believe that we've got this right now, that a movement considered complete under movement method 7 can still be adjusted with that errata that states, that's in the errata. So that's a better position, tactically adjusted into there. So yeah, okay. So, and thanks for spotting that one, John. I don't know, like I say, the Führer Brigade unit being on top might have thrown me, but there's that many to look out for, isn't there? Okay, that was all the things to catch up with. Now we have no cards left, and there's only 3 cards in the German draw pile, so we should be able to get to the end of the day with this recording, I hope, unless it gets really intense, but I'm not sure I'm going to have the time to do it all at once, but hopefully it'll just be in this recording, and we're on to part 9's been uploaded, so this would be part 10 of the 20th, and I'm pretty sure that should definitely be the last part of the 20th, unless something gets really messy. Okay, let's see what we got. Let's say 3 cards left, so let's get the top 2. Okay, so first SS is primary, so it's going to be the command card. Now that's the guys up the top, isn't that? 67 core, yeah, way up the top. Okay. Of course, this got shuffled in. In fact, did we not make the mistake in this turn of not shuffling it in and then realising later? But here it is. So there's no event to perform with the support card. Just to note, it's a reinforced battle combat tactic, so not assault coordination. So we're going to activate all units in the first SS. There's no first SS units in the reserve units box, just while we're looking there. So we'll get the card over and we'll get started. No roadblocks adjacent to any of their units. They're kind of scattered about quite a bit. I've got one away down here, some here, and then up here, and a couple down there. They're all over the place, really. The army objective is still in its 3rd position, so we've got to reach that for it to move. So that's not going to move. So, okay, let's get down to trying to find out what's going to do what. Okay, first one, movement method 2, move to hex with closer to unit to army objective and adjacent to allied VP hex. Unit 2 here can get adjacent to UFA and get 1 hex closer to its army objective, which is up there. So we can get into this hex or this hex. That's it though. So they're both just 1 hex closer, and this one is going to be more west of this, which is what the compass direction is. So I don't think there's an issue with moving him. So like I say, you can't tactically get better adjusted, unfortunately, just because of the river here. There's no bridge here. That's what they kind of would like to have, a bridge to get across, but there's not one. So that's that. So that was unit selector number 2. I think that one's okay. Now we've got 3 and 4 up here. Now these are kind of like got this sort of traffic jam, haven't they? Well, as we did decide, I thought maybe unit 4 might move adjacent to this, but remember, this isn't the VP hex, it's this one here. And can't get across. Again, it's the river issue, so I don't think he's going to be able to and also unit 3, I don't think any of them can none of them can get adjacent to Liège, and I think if they were able to come down here to Ufe, it's probably not getting them closer. Oh, give me a sec, maybe. Nah, we wouldn't have the movement to do it, and I don't think it is closer to his army objective coming down. Even unit 4, he's 1, 2, 3, 4 away there. So, okay, so let's move on to some of the other movement methods. Okay, we've got movement method 3, cause surround. I think this is one of these wee loops, unfortunate loops that we've come across. Does this guy not just keep going like this? Because he is the only one that's holding this hex with a zone of control, which keeps that guy surrounded. Now, that guy's isolated. Does that matter? Yeah, not quite sure what I'm looking for there. But yeah, he's the only one that's holding this hex a zone of control, like I say. So, but he's not adjacent to the unit. So he's wanting to move adjacent, so he can go here or here. Both hexes are going to be the same distance from his zone of control, from his army objective, sorry, per the tiebreakers. And this one's slightly more west, and that's what's on the compass direction. So I think he's going to move back in here forward into the forest. Now, this time, this unit is isolated, so I think, does that not override a check? Do you not just go straight to a combat with that? Because I think the fact the unit's isolated. So, at least this time, yeah, it says if equal to or greater than 41 odds, this is when you're conducting an attack check. Or if all defending units are isolated, regardless of ratio, conduct the attack. So that means this unit will actually attack this unit. I don't know what it is. So that would be 2 against 3. But because it's isolated, and the reason being, when you're isolated, I think the attacker ignores all hits. I think it is. So why not? You know, you might get something. Okay, so maybe not such as an unfortunate loot this time. So maybe we'll be able to do something this time. But I think that's the only one that's going to move regarding the surround unit method 3. So I'll have a look at see what's next. Okay, on to some infantry moves now. Movement method 7. Move adjacent to allied unit or town. I always found this one a little bit odd. May have mentioned it before. It's an infantry move adjacent to allied unit or town to which no non-bracket German infantry unit is adjacent. Goes in descending order. We've got a 35, but this would be the next in line, 34. And he can actually go 1. No, I'm not moving just yet, it's in case. 1, 2, 3 into here, and then be adjacent to. Well, there's no non-bracketed infantry unit adjacent to this guy, but the move is infantry move adjacent to an allied unit or town to which no non-bracketed German infantry unit is adjacent. And I do recall asking this question myself before, and to say that, well, this is a bracketed unit, so does this still make this move? And yeah, I was informed that, yeah, that is the case. So 1, 2, 3 takes him into there. I'll leave a detachment there. Oh, I've got a detachment marker somehow. But the thing is now, there's still not a non-bracketed infantry unit adjacent to that unit. That's what I find it kinda a little bit odd, but it's still not a terrible move for the unit. So in actual fact, we then look at unit 32 here. Now, what's under this? So, hold on, Grant. I don't think that can reach though, because that is a non-bracketed infantry unit. 1, 2, 3. Well, it can't get in there. And these definitely aren't moving away. Okay, so 1, 2. Yeah, he can't reach this infantry unit in here. But this guy would be next in line, and he can go 1, 2, 3 as well. So there's still not a non-bracketed infantry unit adjacent to that allied unit. So if we came down it and say, for instance, we moved A2, because we're moving in descending order, and let's just say this unit had been here, he would now move in there as well, but yeah, that's not where he is, so you can't do that. But if you know what I mean, you're moving these units, but it's still not then making their non-bracketed infantry unit adjacent to the allied units. So even being 2 of them, I don't think that counts. It certainly doesn't say anything like that. So although, however, they two now do exert their own control, whereas 1 there didn't. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of how it says it in the rules. So we'll just go with that. Right, let me just double check there's no any others. Well, This guy down here, 33 would be in line there somewhere. Right, this is just joint in where I'd left off, just whatever you've seen last. Me talking about it was the units moving up to towards the edge here, these bracketed units, wasn't it? I kind of cut things there and had to go and do stuff, and yeah, I've been kind of busy recently. Well, other things. I just went and got myself married recently, so there you go. I'm not going into any more details than that, but so there's been other things I've had to do, of course. But we're back to the table, and yeah, I think we were down to infantry moves. Move adjacent. What was it? Move adjacent to our unit or town, yeah. And I'd probably looked at this guy earlier. He's unit selector number 33, so he probably. I think we moved 32 there, but there's nowhere for him to move. Now he is already adjacent to this. He's bracketed, of course, so he doesn't count with that. So if he could move away, and the thing is, he's not keeping these units surrounded either, because he doesn't exert zone of control in here, these units can actually move. So I don't think he'd be restricted if he could move away adjacent to another allied unit that didn't have a non-bracketed infantry unit adjacent to it. Anyway, so I don't think we can consider him for that move at the minute. He might get used for something else. But this infantry unit is the only non-bracketed infantry unit adjacent to these allied units. So he is going to be movement considered complete. Now, can he tactically adjust anywhere? He can't really, can he? He's in an empty hex. Yeah, he's in an empty hex. It's not across a river. Yeah, I was just wondering, obviously, if he could have surrounded, because this guy's not surrounded because this guy's bracketed. But it doesn't talk about doing that, trying to surround if you can, you know. Well, in fact, hold on. We would have had movement method 3 would have been trying to cause surround. So I must have looked at it. Well, I hope I did. I must have looked at this. Or did I possibly think he was surrounded then? Oh, hang on, that's worth a look. Actually, just as well, I did think about that. I think I made a wee blunder there with that. So, at the moment, we're looking at movement method 7, which is move adjacent to allied unit or town, the infantry moves. But just going back to movement method 3, cause surround, and I think I maybe thought these units were surrounded. But they're not, because this guy doesn't exert a zone of control into here. There's a zone of control into here for that guy, and there for that guy, and obviously that unit's in that hex, so he's, you know, but he does have an out, he can move here. But this infantry unit back then, I mean, this would have been, it does actually go in descending order, doesn't it? Cause surround. Okay. Yeah, but I believe this guy can go 1, 2, breaking zone of control, and 3 into there. Then when he's in there, he's exerting a zone of control into here, which is going to surround that guy. So, yeah, I almost missed that one. Well, I did miss it at the time. So he's going to lose his IP, go 1, 2, breaking zone of control, and then 3 back in there, and then surrounding him. Nothing else has happened down there, because I'm obviously moving back now to movement method 3, but nothing else. This guy moved back in, didn't he? He was the one that was on the loop, but we mentioned that this unit's isolated now though, so although he's in a loop, he might still be able to do some damage this time. Oh, hold on. Oh, don't tell me. Right, he was in there, wasn't he? Right, hang on. This looks like this could be, because if he was in there, he was actually causing this unit to be surrounded, because he was exerting the zone of control in there. Oh, but he's causing this unit to be surrounded too? Ooh. Right, hang on. I'm just going to double check and look where that unit was. Yeah, okay, I have made a bit of a blunder with this. So maybe some of you spotted this. I think I talked about this before, what would happen. So this unit was in here. Now, I've kind of clearly forgot about these stacky units, and I'm thinking, I'm not noticing the bracket situation here and figuring that these guys are surrounded. But they are surrounded at the minute. But it's not because of this guy, it's because of this guy. Because he's exerting the zone of control into this hex. So I must forget about that or not notice that. But he's also the only unit that's exerting the zone of control in this hex, keeping this guy surrounded. So he's keeping these guys surrounded, keeping this guy surrounded. Now, the rules are that a German unit already causing an allied unit to be surrounded, but that is not in a hex adjacent to that allied unit, moves adjacent if possible. So I've not noticed this, and I've just moved him back in here, is it? Or was it here? No, it was here it ended up, yeah. Which would be correct if I wasn't then breaking the restriction that then enables this guy he's not going to be surrounded anymore. So, in actual fact, I don't think that unit can move, because he's keeping this guy surrounded, so let's just say, well, he wants to move adjacent to that, but as soon as he does that, this guy's not surrounded anymore. So he's actually holding both these stacks surrounded, but can't move adjacent to them because he would be breaking 9.21 B. Do not move a unit. If doing so will cause a currently surrounded allied unit to become no longer surrounded. So, yeah, that's interesting. So hang on. I need to double back I'm back at cause surround. So I've moved this unit back. Oh, I'm getting myself in a bit of a mess now, aren't I? Well, then we would have moved on to the infantry units. We've done the moves up at Liège. That's fine. Yeah. And then the situation here was we were thinking we could move that unit to surround, but no, he doesn't do that now. Okay, good. So he is the only infantry unit, non-bracketed infantry unit adjacent to the stack, so his movement is considered complete. I wish I could mark that in some way to remind me, or something. Hang on. Yeah, well, hopefully I'll remember. Yeah, I should, because I don't want to tell him, because, like I said before, I mean, he's got an IP already, right enough. What is he going to do? He's not going to do anything, is he? I'll leave it anyway. But he's no need to tactically adjust, because he's in an empty hex already, and it's not as if he's adjacent across a river. So, although if that was the case, he maybe would move. Okay, so that's me being through the infantry move. So I'm glad I came back and revisited that, because it did look like that was pretty sure that was a mistake, and that unit should stay there at the minute. Probably unlikely to move at all, really, because he's keeping both these surrounded, so any kind of move is going to break that restriction. Okay, so on to 10 to 13 movement methods, I believe. So let me have a look. Okay, so 10 to 13, the first unit Lines, unit selector number 3. Now, he can't move the arrows. These arrows are that way. He can get 1 hex closer to his army objective, however. I mean, this is fully stacked. We can't go in there. We know fine well, these units aren't going to move. So he could just jump across the river here. He's going to be 1 hex closer to his army objective. He could also go 1, 2, 3, 4 into here, which is 1 hex closer. This one's slightly more west, so I think that's where he's going to go. Which, yeah, kind of makes some sense, I suppose. So, unit 4 is going to be next. There's no arrows in that hex at all. So, can he get closer to his army? Now, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, this hex isn't closer. So, moving to here to try and get a 3-to-1 advantage, which, yeah, is possible. Yeah, well, in fact it is, because I don't think it takes the city into it, does it? But he's not going to be 1 hex closer to his army objective, so my thinking is he's just going to move in here, because this is going to be 1 hex closer. I mean, he can't get adjacent to an allied unit and closer, I don't believe. Give me a sec. No, I don't believe he can get adjacent. I thought maybe he could get down to, it's maybe just off camera, down to here. But remember, he's 1, 2, 3 away there, and he was only 4 away. So getting down here, he's 1, 2, 3, 4 away anyway. But he can't reach there anyway. So I don't know why I'm telling you that. Okay, next would be unit number 5, and I'm not going to make the mistake that I made before, John, and just chuck this guy across the river too, because remember, 1 unit's already come across this unbridged river hex side, and this impulse, so I think he's going to come down here, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. 1, 2, 3, 4 and go there, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from his army objective. Yeah, I think that's good. Right, so where we at? Right, Piper unit's next, but I'm not sure he's moving. No, maybe. Okay, so Piper unit's next, and there you go. There's another bridge I've just missed. Well, I say I've missed. I mean, it's when this unit activates. There's no allied unit across this side, so there's a bridge there that we've not gained control. Is that the only? Yeah, we've already got that one before, yeah. So he can't move via arrows because he's the only unit exerting a zone of control in this hex, keeping these guys surrounded, so he can't go any further than here, but he could actually move to here. I think he might do that. No, hold on. Yeah, it just feels kind of strange to me that this the Piper unit might not have done this the last time. I mean, I think all he can do, unless of course this was one of the other loops where he's moving out, he can only move 1 hex. It's 1 hex closer to his army objective, and he's still keeping this guy surrounded. It's like I say, he's the only one. I don't think I can move any further. No, because it needs to zone of control that hex. There's no issues with the town. Like, the town's surrounded by 2 German units anyway, so allied supply cannot be traced into that town, so there's not an issue with that. Yeah, I think maybe that's right. Like I say, I'm starting to forget all these wee loops that keep popping up, so it might well have been that the Piper had moved before, moved back into the town maybe, and then he's moving out again. But okay, right, let's move on, Grant. Okay, so another interesting one. Unit 8 here. I get the feeling he moved all the way down, didn't he? He came all the way down from up this area to get adjacent to Ufe. Now again, because Ufe's got that 6 strength, we don't need to concern ourselves with restrictions from moving away from it, so we can freely move away. The primary arrow is down across this bridge, which he can make, but then the next move, it's a 5 with a B going that way, or a 6 with a B going that way. So he would only be able to come 1, 2 breaking zone of control, and then 3 into there, and that would stop him. However, there is a secondary arrow in this hex. Let's move these guys just now. Going back this way. So whether this could be a little bit of a loop again, possibly. So that would be 1, 2 secondary arrow. Now again, we've got the primary back in, but that would use up his movement, so he wouldn't be doing that. So 1, 2, 3 following secondary arrow into Vermont. Primary arrow would be back that way, so that would be 4, and then that would, so that's no good. So 1, 2, 3, and then continuing secondary arrow 4 into here, then primary arrow 5 across this bridge, and then primary arrow 6 into here. Well, it's just getting him more beside his buddies. I mean, okay, this guy underneath him just came in here. And it's quite possible that once he does move up here that he would, sorry, I'm going to zoom out there a little bit, maybe quite, let's get liaise into this scene. So like I say, 1, 2 secondary arrow breaking zone of control, 3 secondary arrow, 4 secondary arrow, then 5 primary arrow. There's no other arrows there, was there? 5 primary arrow, and then 6 primary arrow into there. He's not adjacent. He would be able to extend that. Well, he can't, because the only extended arrow is into here, and he couldn't extend that into there because it'd be adjacent to an allied unit. But I do indeed think he's going to do that. Oops. So 1, 2, breaking zone of control, 3, 4. All of them were secondary arrows. Then 5, 6, finishing off with 2 primary arrows. Well, in actual fact, he is now in a position to carry out movement method 2, which is move to X was closer to a unit's army objective and adjacent to an allied DPX by just jumping across that river. Although remembering only one of them will be able to do that, won't they? Okay, well that's for the next impulse anyway, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, I know we looked down into that. There's been quite a bit of this going on, but they're getting there. And they're obviously at a stage now where they need to be more careful, because we are starting to build up a force and hopefully fight back against them. Okay, moving on. Selector number 11. 10. Oh, that's interesting. We'll find out what this guy's doing. Probably nothing. Yeah, so here's number 10 here, and he's stuck in the middle of surrounding 2 different units or stacks even, so he can't move via his arrows because he's going to unsurround both of the units. Can he move nearer his army objective? No, he's not going to be able to move, is he? Because that would be 1 hex closer, but then he's unsurrounding that guy. Infiltrate, move adjacent to an allied unit if not already adjacent. Again, he's going to be breaking a restriction, so I think he's just going to sit there and he'll build an IP when it comes to it. So, yeah. Oh, and I can see. Oh, well, actually, no, I've not. I was just about to say there, I've missed Unit 9, but remember, Unit 9's movement is considered complete, so we can forget about that. Okay, Unit 11, which is in Verviers, let's have a look. Okay, so Unit 11's in Verviers. I don't think Verviers' Allied supply traceable to anyway, but there's an infantry unit there still that we'll get around to. But so probably free for this guy to move. Can't move via his arrows, it takes him up there and locks him in. So, but he can get closer to his army objective, and I thought it was going to be there or there, but this one's actually 5 hexes away, that one's 6. So you can get adjacent to an allied unit. So 1, 2. Oh, wait a minute. I'm just wondering if he would actually. I think he's going to 1, 2, and 3, 4 into here, isn't he? Because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. Let me zoom out a little bit. It's alright. Again. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away as well, that hex, but it's slightly west of that. So, yeah. 1, 2, and then another 2 into that broken hex for 4. Yeah, okay. So I think 16 is going to be this infantry unit to consider next. Let me look around here. Yeah, Unit 10 wasn't doing it. Yeah, so 16. Right. Yeah, don't see an issue with Verviers. Allied supply can't be traced to Verviers. Now that we've kind of, well, we feel we've got this confirmed that, like, this hex here, for instance, Allied supply can't be traced just through this hex into Verviers from off the map. Yeah, that can't be the case. So he can't move his arrows. It's 1, 2. He would go in here, but so he's want to get closer to his army objective, and he can actually go 1, 2, 3 into here and get 1, 2, 3, 4 away from his army objective. Again, he can't get adjacent to an allied unit, so I think he's going to pop in there. Yes, I believe so. So, unit selector number 26 next. Now hold on. I was just about to get in going, but after just talking about the supply here, now we know when we've got Verviers, well, this is how Martin put it to me, that he felt that, wait now to get the rule up, hang on. Yeah, so the rule says loss 13.14, this says loss of allied supply sources. Certain road hexes along the north and south map edge cease to be valid allied supply sources if certain towns are German owned. Yeah, not occupied, German owned. So, and then the one that's relevant here, well, it's Eupen or Verviers. So if Eupen or Verviers is owned, which both of them are, we've got Verviers and also Eupen's along here, it then says that hex 0109, which is Eupen, is an invalid supply source for the Allies. And when I brought all this up, I don't want to go on about it again, but then I thought, well, is this hex? This isn't a road hex, but I mean, this, you could just trace supply into here. And Martin's view on that was that he believes you can consider that if Verviers is controlled, then any hexes on the map edge hexes that are anything east of that, so it means all these hexes, you can't trace Allied supply. However, this hex here is not one of them. Now, at the moment, Allied supply can't be traced to that hex because of this unit. So the concern here is, can I move this unit? Because if I do move this unit, then Allied supply could be traced from coming in from there. So I probably can't. And I think that's right in my thinking, but by all means, let me know if I'm getting that wrong. Yeah, well, if I'm getting that thinking right, and it feels right, I don't think this unit can move, because if he was to disappear away from there, then Vervier's ally supply can be traced in it. He can't get into this hex, but again, if he could get into that hex, then ally supply is traceable, so he does need to stay where he is, or around about this area, and there's no movement methods that are going to move him into either of these two hexes, so I don't think he's going to do anything. Yeah, and the reason is 9.21d, do not move if doing so would create a condition in which ally supply is traceable to an empty German town, city or West Wall hex. Okay, so no, I don't think he's going to go. So we've got a couple of bracketed infantry units to look at. Try and wrap this up. Yeah, I think this guy's next 33. I think he's kind of stuck as well, because although this Piper unit's exerting a zone of control here, and this unit's exerting a zone of control here, surrounding that unit, this stack of units. This, although he's not exerting a zone of control, and part of the reason why he can't move is because of that, he's actually blocking this hex though. So if he was to move like there, then these units aren't surrounded anymore. It doesn't matter where he moves. So unfortunately I think he's got to stay where he is as well at the minute. So the last one is up, and what was it again? Eupen, which we just talked about. So he could maybe head along towards Verviers, you would think, and maybe then eventually let this guy be able to move because of that. So, well, actually, I think he can certainly move with his arrows, can't he? So, primary. Yeah, I think so. Now, again, because we've got Verviers, this hex, the allies can't just trace supply into there, so that's fine. And everything, all these hexes here. So 1, 2, 3. Now that's his normal movement. Now you can extend that by another 2, isn't it? What's happened to the arrows? There's none. Oh, okay. Feels a bit odd, doesn't it? You would think there should be an arrow into Verviers there. Maybe not. Maybe because it's on the map edge. I don't know. Well, I guess there's no harm in just leaving them there. I do feel that could be just kind of feels like these primary arrows are coming along. They end up in this hex, and then you would have kind of thought there should be a primary arrow coming down here from that hex, but there's nothing. So don't know if that's meant to be or not. Maybe something somebody out there might know about. There's no one that springs to mind regarding any errata about it, so not to me anyway. Okay, well, hopefully I'll get this uploaded, and if anybody's got any comments on that, they can let me know, because whether he's there or... Well, if there was an arrow into there, he would then move into there, I think, actually, because he would move 1, 2, so... But I'll leave him there, that's where the arrows are. So he's got to stop there, and he can't extend his move because there's not any arrows. So that'll be that. Okay, but I think that's on the movement, so let's try and move on and see if I've got any, because as usual, things are taking an awful lot of time here, Grant. Okay, I had a quick glance. I don't think there's any combats to consider. Unit 2 here, is crossing the river into 6th strength. Bear in mind, there's not an assault coordination in the support card box, and there's no reinforcement, so this is half to cross the river against 6. That's not going to happen. There's another couple of bracketed units here into a city across a river, so that's not going to happen. I don't want to thought, but it's not. There's 11 strength in here, and okay, it's out of supply, but we've got 4 against 11. He's in a forest as well, so he gets a +1 for the forest, -1 again for the out of supply, so it's still 4 against 11. So that's not going to happen either. And of course, I talked about the possibility of this guy, because he had moved down originally, but that was an error. Attacking the isolated unit, but because he wasn't allowed to come down here because of that, that's not going to happen either. So yeah, the whole 1st SS just makes some movements. I mean, yeah, they've starting to look a bit more threatening up here at Liège. You would think the next turn, well, possibly even both these units could cross, because one could cross into there, one could cross into there, so it's possible. It still doesn't feel that threatening up there, although, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of victory points if they do start getting mean. And it could depend, the 2nd SS attacking this unit, we don't. Okay, well, I think that's the 1st SS done with the command card. The only other considerations would be anything bouncing back to reserves, or building IPs. Well, the units that haven't moved, one's up here, he's on his own, this one's on his own, this one's on his own, this one's on his own. They've done nothing. They've already got IPs, they too. So this unit can build an IP, and also this one up here I think can build an IP. So I think we can do that safely. But that's going to be about that. So, maybe it does look like we've kind of stopped things happening too much. I mean, Liège is still a one to watch anyway, but yeah, okay, right. So we still have a support card though, so just double check. There wasn't any reserves. Yeah, I've done that. We'll put a couple of IPs on. That's it. That's fine. So 1st SS card is done. Right, I'm going to pause a second and get this all worked out. Okay, that turned into a big pause overnight, but not that you'll see any gap. I'll just be adding this on. So the 67 core units. No, right, so we're going to activate. Are we? Oh yeah, hang on, almost blundered there. It's wanted to assign a replacement point first. Hang on a sec. Okay, we would have got away with it if we had skipped by it, because all the units are full strength anyway. There's 1, 2 here, and then we've got 2 mechanized, well, the armoured mechanized unit, and then that other infantry unit underneath, but they're all full strength. So we're going to activate them. No robots adjacent. Now they're the one that's got the core objective marker. Now this time we've got a little bit of change, because there's not an allied unit within 3 of that core objective marker. So that's going away now, and they're going to be bound by the army objective marker, so that's going to let them start moving west. So that comes off. Yeah, so they're now following the 7th Army objective mark. 7th Army, 6th Army, 6th Panzer Army objective marker. And it is still, well, it's in its 3rd place, so we need to reach it before it's going to make a move. Right, okay, let me go and see what we're going to. I would imagine they're going to make some movement of some sorts. just while I was glancing about there, I noticed that Piper unit moved out of this town, so there should have been a detachment left there. Okay, so I'm on infantry moves 5 to 9. Yeah, I think this infantry unit in here could probably move adjacent to Allied unit or town. Hang on a sec. Yeah, no, I'm talking nonsense. There's already a infantry unit adjacent to here. I thought this infantry underneath here would have came down, but no. So I think I'm moving right to 10 to 13. So yeah, so probably arrows, assuming there is an arrow in this hex. There is indeed. So let's see now what we're doing. So it's going north, isn't it? Oh, this is an odd one. Yeah. Goes primary. So it goes that way, whereas the secondary brings it straight into here, which is going to save a movement point. But they would grab a detachment by going that way. Not that whether that's no, that doesn't come into it really. When you're following arrows, you've got to follow the arrows, haven't you? But I'm sticking by the whole primary if I can go primary. Yeah, this is the one that John Butterfield, when he made that when Martin was making his example, John just would have moved with the secondary arrow when there was an option with the primary arrow. Anyway, we think he's made a slight error with that judgment based on how the rules in Kharkov are going to be maybe a bit more simpler following arrows. I think maybe it's just the fact that there's only maybe a primary arrow and maybe not two different arrows. Could be that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we take him into that detachment, following his primary arrows. So 1, leaving a detachment there, 2 into that clear hex, 3, 4, 5. So what we'll do is, well, in actual fact, that detachment. Well, I'll put it there just now, because he's going to extend as well. Yeah, so he's going to extend again. Primary arrows 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 into here. So detachment will be put back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's not broke any rules for the extended move of that. He's not moving adjacent to an allied unit or anything like that, crossing any allied bridges or any of that stuff. So yeah. And I don't think there's going to be any restrictions broken up here anyway. I think supply can be traced up that way. We've got the top of the map covered now. We've taken Verviers, well, certainly up to that important part anyway. Okay, so yeah, it's more than likely unit number 2 is going to do exactly the same thing, isn't he? In fact, yeah, let's just not mess about and let's just move them with arrows into the same hex. Let's try and get things moving, Grant, because I'm starting to think I might be uploading another part just before the last part. The way this is going, that last impulse, I just feel like I slowed down again. I get into the mode where I'm just playing it myself, and you can see that it takes me this is how I play the game, you know. Okay, it's taking a wee bit more time talking about it, I suppose, but this is how I play it. I want to make sure everything's perfect as possible, and I take my time and I look over things, and so I just guess that's the way it's going to be. You've either got used to it or you've left by now. Okay, so next one be unit number 4. So he's got an arrow into here. Give me a sec. Yeah, so you can move arrows as well. So I think 1, 2, 3, and then extend 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, and then he extends it another 2, sticking with primary arrows, ends up there. He didn't leave any detachments, no. Okay, so then unit 5 He's coming down. Okay, so he's got a slight difference. His primary arrow's coming down in this town and then cutting across. So 1, 2, 3 into there, and then would extend 1, 2 into here. So 1, 2, 3, and then extend 2 more, ending up there. Now you left this west wall hex. Yeah, that should get a detachment, shouldn't it? I think. Yeah. Okay, and then the last one, unit 7, is going up the way. So 1, 2, 3, and then extends 4, 5. He's going to end up where that detachment is, and we've a oh no, that wasn't good. Right, we have a detachment there. Was that on the town? Oh god, can't remember exactly where they were. Give me a sec, see if I can fix that. Yeah, just had a glance back at my previous. I think that wasn't covered, that one. It was the town. Obviously, I think we just went through the town, didn't we? So what I'm looking at the moment looks right, and the 2 additional ones, that was a unit moved from there and a unit moved from there, so I think that's right. So, and then all the units moving that way, I don't think there's any restrictions. I don't think there's any supply traceable through any of the west wall hexes or any of the German towns here that I can see. There's a lot of stuff in the way, mind you, but I'll just zoom out and let you. Maybe, you never know. John spotted that one back where there was a wee sneaky gap, but I don't think so. I think all of that is good. So I don't think any of them moved adjacent to any allied units. So that's probably going to be that, isn't it? They've all made a movement, so no IPs to be placed. Right, okay, let's get that one done and dusted then, and see if I can. What I might do is draw the last German card and see if I can get this all put into the one part and finish the turn. See if I can quicken it up a little bit. Right, okay, I'll take a pause. Well, you know what, I'll take a pause there in case I do need to cut it here, just in case. And then we'll see if we can, and if not, I'll just upload a small part of the end, finishing the day. Okay, stop going on, Grant. Right, I'll be back soon, guys. Cheers. Hi all. Right, came straight back, so hopefully we can just end the 20th with this impulse. But let's see. They've only got one card left, so it's going to be the command card no matter what. Okay, 58th Corps, and it's a primary card, so it's not a repair job. It's a activate all units. Okay, and they've not got any reserves there. Right, let's go and have a look. Okay, so they're pretty spread about again. One up here, one here, over here, and then down by Bastogne as well. So they're all over the place. We do have a roadblock here, but not one quite adjacent to. Again, the army objectives needing to be reached before it moves. So, hey, let's activate them and look at some movement. Okay, first one I can see is movement method 2, move to hex with closer units, army objective and adjacent to allied EP hex, and this unit moving adjacent to Ufe in this hex. That hex gets on one hex closer to his army objective only, because it's kind of like down there, but it is one hex closer. Now, if I'm not mistaken, was he not one of the units that we had to watch before for keeping Manhay covered from allied supply? So I'm going to have a look at that first before John catches me out again. Actually, no, I don't think it was this one. I think it was the unit in Houghton, which is the unit beside Houghton. I think this was the gap that I got caught out before, but it looks like it's maybe closed off now. Okay, so I think this guy can make this move because he can move 3 into here, 3 into the woods hex, then 4, 5 into here. And like I say, it is 1 hex closer, and it would be adjacent to an allied VP hex. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for that. So 3, 4, 5. Weaving a detachment behind the hex he left, which was here. Okay, moving on. Just a quick look at this guy first. I'd looked at him initially, to be honest, because I thought he could get down to Avalanche, because that's the direction of the army objective. And 1, 2, 3, if he had 3 movement points, would get him adjacent. But he's breaking zone of control, so he can't quite reach. So I'd looked at him first, but I was just pointing that out to you in case you thought he could maybe do that too. And then, yeah, I mean the unit's down here. This is Marche, which isn't it's not a VP town, so there's nothing really here. And going down towards St Hubert's not going to get them closer. So okay, that's right. Let me have a look. Okay, on infantry moves, and then movement method 5, which is move active infantry units east of a hex adjacent to an allied VP hex. This guy here, he's not adjacent. The Uffe's this hex here, so I think, was he the one that we done a movement was considered complete, and he was in this hex, and then we tactically adjusted him into this hex, I think. Well, it looks like he's going to shimmy himself back to be adjacent to Uffe again. I mean, you can see, obviously, they would then have 2 units to consider an attack, but they'd be needing an assault coordination for that, the numbers to work out, I think. But you have to say, going by the rules, right, now hold on here though. Hold on. I mean, well, no, I think he should still move, because he can go 1, 2, 3 into here to satisfy the moving an infantry unit adjacent to an allied VP hex, okay? And it's not starting adjacent to an allied VP hex, so that's the next part of the rule, that it would only move if blah blah blah. Put 2, yeah, because 9.21a would restrict, but this is the one that's got 6 strength in it, isn't it? This is the one that was we weren't really concerned with moving away from it. But here's the thing here. So when he makes this move, he's adjacent to an allied unit, so he would like to tactically adjust if he could. Now his tactical adjustment would actually leave him in the hex that he was going from, but then he doesn't satisfy the adjacent to an allied VP hex. So I've got to think there, surely, that he still makes that move. I mean, if he could tactically adjust in an empty hex that was around the VP hex, then yes. But if he tactically adjusts and he's not adjacent to the VP hex, then surely that's not completing the move that he had started with. So I'm going to go with that one though, but let me know your thoughts on that. Detachment left there. Okay, yeah, skipped right on to 10 to 13. Unit 1 again here, still keeping these guys surrounded in Barcelona. So don't think he's going to move, can't move by arrows, can't get close to his army objective, can't infiltrate, he's already adjacent, so he's just going to sit tight. So let's look at unit number 2, who's in La Roche. Yeah, so he's still kind of bound by some restrictions, because if he moves away even to here, no, here he's okay, isn't he? Or is he? No, he's not, is he? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we've been here before, haven't we? We've been here a lot. I think he's been stuck here for quite some time. Hang on a sec. Yeah, this is the one that you want, infantry. I mean, what is it? Movement method A, isn't it? Infantry enter town occupied only by German units possessing armour to which Allied supply can be traced. But however, we don't have that. We do have an infantry unit back at Vale Sam, which might start moving now, so maybe next turn. But it does look like he's kind of stuck again. Because this is no closer to his army objective. This would be, but 1, 2. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I think he can actually move into this detachment. Just wonder if I might have missed that one before, but so that is 1 hex closer to his army objective. And I believe it's probably the only move that he can make that do that, because like I say, even moving into there, supply can be traced, but when he's in here, Ally supply cannot be traced. It can go 1, 2, and then it can't trace into there because he's staying there. So yeah, I think I'm going to go for that one. So it'd be 1, 2. Now he can't move any further, even if it was possible, because he's adjacent to that roadblock. Right, that detachment will come away. I'll put a detachment on La Roche. Let me just double check that though. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that one. Yeah, I can't see any restrictions broken. I don't believe Allied supply is traceable to that town, because this is a German bridge here, so yeah, if it could, it can't get around there anyway. And then yeah, it wouldn't mean even if I could move this further, which is no, I don't think I could anyway, because I think I need to keep this bit blocked. But however, he's adjacent to an Allied roadblock, so he's got to stop there anyway. Okay, on to Unit 3 then. Let's see what he can do. Okay, so can't move the arrows. That would just take him into there, but I think that's where he's going to go, because he can get closer. That is 1 hex closer to his army objective. That would be 1 hex closer too. We're not getting a 3-to-1 advantage here, because there's 6 strength in there. Of course, I would be able to count that unit there, but even still, I mean, his best odds are actually against this unit. So, and this hex is slightly more west of that hex, so I think that's where he's going to go. He's just going to move into there. He can't get, I can't see any other route where he can get any more hexes closer to his army objective. You know, because he's not getting the 3-to-1 advantage, you want to get as close as possible, but so I think a simple case of moving into there. Don't see any restrictions being broken again. Houghton looks good as well, it's okay. You know, nothing can trace down here, and it's all locked up the top. Okay, so that's Unit 2, 3. Right, just got the infantry move back. Infantry back at Vale Sam to move. Okay, so here he is. I feel Vale Sam's safe. There's not any trouble on supply getting traced to that, so it's not as if he's protecting any of that. St. Bith as well. Not that I can see. So it can follow arrows by going primary here for 2, and then primary here for 3. So 1, 2, 3. Leaving a detachment here, and then extending it another 1, 2 into there, and leaving a detachment here. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. That's all the units moved, apart from the unit outside Bastogne. He's already got an IP, he's not stacked on army, he's not going to bounce back or anything. There is one. I think there's only the one check we're going to have to make though. And there is this one up here. That's what, 4 strength. You can't count the unit underneath. Again, 6 strength. So yeah, I've no support cards, so no reserve. So that's not going to happen. This one over here though is a 3 against a 2. He's going to get a +1 for being adjacent to supplied allied unit. Hang on a sec. Been a while since we've been looking at this, isn't it? Yeah, adjacent to supplied allied unit. So he gets a +1 for that. So it's 3 against 3. So it is 1-to-1 odds. So we've got a dice roll like this. Modifiers. Well, we are elite, but he's elite too, so that's not going to happen. There's no support card. It's not an army card. So it's just straight up 1-to-1 odds with no modifiers. So let's see what we get. Alright, that's hidden away. Ooh, it's a big 9, I think. Yeah. So there was no modifier, so yeah, cancel a less than 3-1, so that's not happening. Okay, good enough. Right, let's try and move on so I can keep this and make it not too long. Like I say, no IPs to be placed, they've all moved. Yeah, nothing else doing. Okay, I think that's impulse over. That was the support card. That's the Germans now went through all their cards. So let me tidy up there, and I think we're just moving on to the end of the day. Okay, I don't think we missed anything there. So it does look like we've come to the end of the 20th. Seems like another long one, but I think they're all kind of long, aren't they? On Grant, please. Okay, so check victory conditions. Well, we are now going to be able to do that. This is the first check. So if the Germans have less than 11 victory points, we would have a strategic win. Well, that's no. If they had greater than 40, it would be a strategic loss. Well, they've got 34 still. Admittedly, we held them. I want to say pretty much right through that day, but no, maybe not. It's been a long day, and maybe they did get something. So 34. Well, that's not bad then, is it? Yeah, that's probably pretty good that we've held them from getting any more. So, okay. Keep going, Dan. Keep going. Right, discard your hand and draw pile. We'll have no cards. Return combat chits to the cup. I'll do that. Remove all disperse out of fuel marker as well. It's not out of fuel because they had a fuel marker. And they're also getting a fuel marker on the next day, on the 21st. Can't see anything that's dispersed. So all good there. So check detachment markers for removal, and then advance the day markers start new day. So I'll have a look at the detachments again, and maybe give a brief outlook at what's came away, rather than go through it all. Let's speed this up a bit. Okay, quite a lot of detachments been taken off. I just wanted to pick out a couple just near the end here. All the ones I've taken off are because Allied supply is not traceable to them, but there's a couple here that are German supply is not traceable now. This Allied supply is traceable to that, but German supply is not traceable to that detachment. So it's an either German or Allied that would remove it. And just also pointing out, this one was quite interesting. Well, German supply is not traceable to this one as well. He's adjacent to the roadblock, but you can't trace through a roadblock to trace German supply. So although Allied supply is traceable to this detachment, German supply is not. So yeah, apart from the cities and west walls, I think it's just these two down here. Was that? Yeah, I think they were the only two that stayed. I say apart from all the cities and the west walls, which don't get removed at this time. Okay, so all good. That looks like that's got this day finished at last. So we'll get the end of term marker moved on. We'll get on another day. I'm probably not going to start that right now. But hopefully this will upload. It'll probably be quite a long last part, but it's either that or have a wee short part to finish. I'll have a look and see how extreme it is. Okay guys, I'll leave it for now and we'll get back to the 21st. We're moving on, slowly but surely. Okay, cheers for now.